All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Speaking of Zane, April 24th, 2022. This is the 189th edition of Speaking of Zane. Coming up on 200 episodes. What should we do as a celebration of that anniversary coming up in, what is that, 10, 11 weeks or so? Get my camera right here. There we go. Well, welcome everybody. We got Steve Shirley in the chat there. Hey, Steve. Got Jim Miller in there. Hey, Jimbo. And if you join, welcome. And if you want us to know you're there, put some in the chat, and I'll know that you're there. And even if you decide not to put anything in the chat, that's okay. Welcome. Good to have you all here. Let's see. Daryl's in there. Hey, Daryl. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. I know you hadn't been 100% over this last week. Praying for you. Let's see. There's Matt Aaron and Katie Aaron, a dynamic duo from Michigan. Good to have y'all in there on a Sunday night on April the 24th of 2022. Oh, let's see. What the heck has been going on around here while people gather? We'll see if we can chronicle any of the activities going on around here. Normal work week for the most part for me. I did have an opportunity to break away. I guess it was on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. I'll talk more about that in a minute. The Missing in America project, and show some pictures from that. But let's see. Oh, good. Katie's birthday's coming up. We'll have a couple other birthdays to announce. So Katie's birthday's coming up this week. Well, happy birthday, young lady. That's awesome. Our daughter Hannah's birthday is today. Hannah turned 30 years old today. How about that? 30 years old Hannah turned today. I'm not sure Lori and I were 30 yet when we had her. Were we, Lori? Let's see, if you take, she's 30, if you add 20. Oh, yeah, we were. 20, 30 plus 20 is 50. Yeah, so we were, okay, yeah, we might have been just short of 30 when we had her. But Hannah, it's hard to believe she's been around for 30 years. She was born, the Omaha people will recognize the Erlen Berquist Hospital there. Out near the Capehart housing. That's where Hannah was born. Now, oddly enough, of the 4 of ours that were born in Omaha, she was the only one born at that Air Force hospital. Because, let's see, Zane was born down at Bergen Mercy, in Omaha. Let's see. Then Hannah was at Erling Berquist, and then Charlotte was at, was it Midland? Was it Midland in Papillion there at the 370 and whatever? And then Jackson was born there. I think Jackson and Charlotte were at the same, I think it was called Midland at the time. May still be there in Papillion. So that's where those two were born. Of course, our oldest son, Tyler, he was born at Lakenheath. So happy birthday, Hannah. Happy birthday, Katie. By the way, Hannah is an Army veteran. Hannah did 7 years in the Georgia National Guard. Yeah, she did, I think she did like Zane did. She went in at 17, I think, if I remember right. I don't think she was quite 18, so she ended up going to basic training at South Carolina, Fort. Which one's in Columbia, South Carolina? Anyway, that's where she went to basic training. And she was in basic training while Zane was in Iraq. And Jackson, there you go. I knew one of the Army guys would pipe up there. Yeah, relaxing Jackson, some of them call it. I'll tell you the interesting thing is we went to her graduation, and of course this was at the this was in 2010, I guess. Zane was in Iraq, and they were still filling the ranks up. I mean, they didn't know yet that we were on the backside of Iraq quite yet. So in her graduation, there were young men and women ranging from the age of 17 to 42. It's crazy. So out there on that parade ground, graduated from basic training, were individuals between the ages of 17 and 42. It's crazy because they had extended the age during that period of time. But so yeah, and then she went to Fort Lee for her AIT, and I remember going up there and getting her. I might have even taken her there and dropped her off, and then drove back up there and got her after her AIT was done. But then she did all her drilling and everything every weekend with, or every 1 weekend a month with her unit. So good stuff. There's Aunt Mary. Hey, Aunt Mary. All right. So happy birthday. Also have a little cousin, second cousin, Harley is 18 today. So Hannah, Harley, Chipper Jones shares a birthday with them. He's 50 today, Chipper Jones, Atlanta Brave Hall of Famer, Chipper Jones. So happy birthday all around to you, April births. Okay, let's see, house fire update. Well, nothing new on the house next door. Last week I mentioned that they had finished all the demo inside. They hauled off the dumpsters, and nothing happened this last week. Absolutely nothing. They hauled the dumpsters off on Monday or so, and then there's been absolutely no activity over there. So I don't know if the general contractors haven't got everything all lined up on how they're going to proceed, but we'll keep you updated on that. Let's see. Oh, I heard from my Aunt Paula. Aunt Paula, if you're out there, hello. Aunt Paula told me she had some fusion work done on her neck or something. And anyway, she was going to be homebound for about the next 5 or 6 weeks. And I'm like, well, I can't imagine you being homebound. And she says, neither can I. So, but I rest assured that she will make the most of it. That's for sure. A very active woman in her mid 70s. Don't tell her I told you how old she is, but you would never know it by her activity level and by her appearance. She has weathered very well, Aunt Paula has. Let's see. Lori's mom was supposed to be here when? Today or yesterday, and she got the COVID, and so we moved her flight out again. So looks like she will be here on the day before Mother's Day. So I guess it all worked out. She'll be here for Mother's Day. I think that's May 7th. She comes in for a week. And then another travel item, our daughter Charlotte, the FBI Academy grad, Seattle, Washington resident. She is coming to town this week. Now, she's just not coming for the purpose of visiting us, but she's coming for a wedding. Her and her, how do I refer to him? Her and her acquaintance. She has a young man acquaintance. Anyway, they're coming to town and for a funeral. Good grief. That's a Freudian slip right there. They're coming for a wedding. Oh, goodness. Anyway, so they're going to be here, I think Wednesday and through maybe Sunday or so, because she said she made reservations for to take Lori and I out to dinner, her and Jeff out to dinner Saturday. So I know they'll be here at least through Saturday. So it'll be great to see her while she's here. I won't get to see her until Saturday because I'm going out of town this week. Actually, our work travel has spun back up. And I've got some meetings in St. Louis at our headquarters this week, and I'll be heading over there tomorrow afternoon and coming home Friday morning. And so that'll be fun. And let's see. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Charlotte, and that'll be great. Weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. What's the guess? Okay, last week I reported 37 pounds lost. Who wants to take a guess at Guy's weight loss figure as it currently sits? I'll give you a minute in the chat. I met some folks today that hadn't seen me, or not today, over this last week. I saw some folks, including yesterday. I saw some folks that hadn't seen me in a while, and they were blown away. That's when it makes it. If people see you every day, the gradualness of it, that it doesn't, it's not so apparent. But when people that haven't seen you for a while see you, then it is. Well, let's see. Matthew's right in the middle. Ken guessed 41. Daryl guessed 42. It could be 41. I haven't weighed myself today, and I did exercise. I haven't really eaten anything, but officially I'm at 40 pounds weight loss. So Matt gets Matt wins. He doesn't win anything, but he guessed right. I'll give him a gold star. But yeah, 40. So I don't see any signs of slowing down as long as it keeps working. And yeah, I could be. Ken wants to win. Ken, if I go hit the scales, it's probably another pound on there, and you would win. But I'm just too lazy to get up right now and go do that. But I'll update you again. You'll have to wait till next Sunday to get the update. Now, here's the deal. I'm traveling to headquarters, and so there's always food involved. So we'll see how I fare. Instead of cheating, I just wouldn't eat. I haven't cheated in this whole almost 5 months now. Just haven't had the urge. So I don't think I'll go off the wagon or anything. I'll just be particular about what I eat and only eat the meat and some veggies. But it'll be cool. I am taking. I do drink a lot now. I drink a lot of water, but I drink these Gatorade Zero mixes, little powders. So I'm taking a couple of boxes of those powders. So this is what I drink on all day. I'll probably drink 4 or 5 of these. Probably should drink more, but so I'm taking some of that with me in a Gatorade bottle, so I'll be all set. And then taking me some of my artificial sweetener. I don't use the like you find at a restaurant. I found out those aren't the best. But if you use an artificial sweetener with monk fruit, made of monk fruit or of stevia, either one of those. So I'm going to take some packets of that. But what am I talking about? This is speaking of Zane, this is a veterans thing. But anyway, 40 pounds. So you'll have to wait till next week to see if I hit that 41 mark there, Ken. Well, Daryl, you those aren't good. That's not a good 12 pounds for you. Daryl lost 12 pounds, but yeah, like he says, he doesn't recommend a method. He's been sick all week, and so when you get sick, you get dehydrated. The first weight that you always lose is water weight, and so that's probably not a good thing. And Daryl recognizes that. I know Daryl's trying to stay hydrated, but Daryl, make sure you watch yourself and don't let anything get away from you. Okay, well, let's see. I mentioned a couple of activities I have this week, and I mentioned this one last week, and we read the names of the individuals, but it's the Missing in America project, the Missing in America project. You can go look it up and see what it's all about, but basically they're in the business of tracking down these veterans' remains that were not claimed, unattended, unaccompanied, a number of terminology that you'll hear, but they have taken on the work of not only finding, locating the remains of veterans that have been unclaimed, but of giving them the proper farewell that they deserve. as a veteran that served the country. And I had the honor to attend one of their services on Tuesday, and they did it at Georgia National Cemetery, where Lori and I are regular visitors, of course. And they interred 6 veterans on Tuesday afternoon, and it was an amazing ceremony. There were the 6 all represented 3 branches of service. He had 4 soldiers, 1 airman, and 1 Marine. Consequently, they had a color guard for each of those services. So the Army had a color guard to fold the flag and present it, and likewise for the Air Force and the Marine Corps. And then they had representatives from bugles across America played taps. The Marine Corps League had their honor guard there to do the 21 gun salute, and the Patriot Guard riders were there with the flags and whatnot. It was just an awesome service. If you ever get the opportunity to attend one of those, I highly recommend it. Just an amazing, event. Let me see if I can find a couple of pics for you here in case you haven't seen it yet. But service lasted. They had some speakers, and the main speaker at the service was a retired Army colonel, and then they had a number of other people along the way for various parts of it. A young lady sang the national anthem and whatnot. It was just very touching, of course, and it's one of those things I think that kind of sets us apart from other countries. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure other countries do similar things, but it seems like we probably take it a little more seriously, and we've shed a lot of blood for this country and others. And let me share a couple of pics with you here, especially for people that watch the YouTube and the replay and maybe haven't seen my post on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group. I'll go ahead and share a few pictures here of the Tuesday ceremony. So you can see there the Marine Corps League with their detail bagpiper who played them in as they arrived. There's the Bugles Across America representative, did a fine job. And there's 2 hearses, 3 veterans' remains in each, and they were cremated, of course. Guest speaker. And then here's the Army detail, the Marine Corps detail, the Air Force detail. And there's the six veterans there. And the lone airman of the bunch there. And of course, Patriot Guard riders showed up in full force and did a wonderful job. There was even a flyover. Let me show you let's see if you could, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but see it. It's called the Tiger Flight. These guys, based up in Rome, Georgia. Like the other one where they did this one here, they did a missing man where the aircraft on the left facing does a peel off here. Let me see if you can see that as they approach from the west. And there he goes, peeling off in the missing man. But yeah, just incredible. The weather was absolutely gorgeous up there in the the foothills of the North Georgia mountains, right at the base, sort of at the Appalachians. But anyway, so it was a great event there. If you ever get the opportunity, highly recommend it. And then yesterday, I mentioned this last week, and I talked about him when he passed. But our friend Lori has a friend called Kathy Cobb, and we've become friends with them over the years. And Lori and her are in the same book club and all this other stuff, and they've been good friends for quite a number of years. Well, a couple of years ago, her father moved down, and he was 90 years old, and his name is Edward Burke, and he was an airman first class in the Air Force in the early 50s. He flew as a gunner on B-29s post World War II. And anyway, so Lori and I got to meet him and got to know him a little bit. And, we would on occasion do different activities with the Cobbs, whether it was 5K or meeting at Semper Fi Bar and Grill. Mr. Burke really enjoyed that, so I got to spend time with him there. In fact, he was for the Air Force birthday last September. Mr. Burke was there for that. Ralph at Semper Fi does a good job of celebrating the anniversary of every branch, and of course, there's a tradition that the oldest member of that branch cuts the cake. And of course, at 90, he turned 92 last year. That September is the Air Force birthday. He turned 92, and he was the oldest, so he got to cut the cake. And anyway, unfortunately, he passed away in March, and then now, through all the activities and things that it takes to coordinate everything, he was finally put to rest yesterday. And beside his wife, who preceded him in death less than 2 years ago, I think, maybe 2-3 years ago, Mary Burke is her name, and she's buried at the Bonaventure Cemetery in Savannah, very famous. And so now is Mr. Cobb. And I drove down there yesterday to attend the service, and it was another awesome event where we honor a veteran when they pass, and just an amazing service with a couple of sharp airmen. Let me see if I can share a couple of these pics with you here. I left the house here in Ackworth at 0600 and drove down to Savannah. And here are some of the pics that I took. And I was glad I was able to, because of course the family are, they're grieving, and they're in the middle of the service and everything. And so it's difficult, for them to capture. And that's the way it was with Lori and I with Zane. I was so grateful that our friend Tom Hoover took some fabulous photos of Zane's service, and I'll be forever grateful about that. And I was able to take a number of photos yesterday at Mr. Cobb's service, and I have shared those at Kathy's request. And here are the two honor guard airmen that were there, very sharp. The two Patriot Guard riders who led the motorcade. Great guys right there. Big Papa was one of them, and the other guy is called LT. His name's Greg. Both Navy vets. And let's see. There's Greg. Greg was the ride captain. He's the one I coordinated with. He's the one I got a hold of initially to talk about, and he was a great guy. And Papa, he's from up in South Carolina. He actually drove down from the Beaufort, South Carolina area. And again, there's the airmen. And these flags, these American flags and the lone Air Force flag, were all placed by the Patriot Guard guys ahead of time. So it was very nice that the whole gravesite had American flags encircling. You can go to, of course, you can go to the Speaking of Zane Facebook page and see these. I was standing in the back of the tent here as they, let me see if I can get, there you go, as they unfurled the flag and then they ceremoniously folded it back up, of course. And this is Kathy, her husband Gordon, and the other daughter, Tricia. And their brother was there too. And there's the honor guard presenting the folded flag to Kathy, and then saluting Mr. Burke for his fine service to our country. Just a touching ceremony. And there's Greg from the Patriot Guard Riders. I think he presented a coin to Kathy. I need to get a picture of that. Kathy, if you're watching, I think that's true. Maybe it was something else, but I couldn't quite see there. You see, I just was able to snap that picture over Kathy's shoulder. But and there's Kathy talking about her dad. There's Kathy's brother. He had a very difficult time talking about his father. I can't imagine. There was a stiff wind in Savannah yesterday, and so we got some really good flag shots. There's the folded flag, and then there's Mr. Burke's remains. Kathy giving Greg, the Patriot Guard rider, one last hug before they wrap things up. She was so appreciative, Kathy was. And there's the entrance to Bonaventure Cemetery in Savannah. So anyway, just a very interesting, humbling to attend those services like that. All right, well, let's see if I missed anybody in the chat here. Let's see, Katie says, we drove by a war dog memorial yesterday. Oh, how about that? They were doing a burial, so we didn't want to disturb. Stopping and look further. We'll plan to take a little drive out and visit this summer. Very good. Well, yeah, we'll look forward to that. There's my cousin Toby. Hey, Toby. Toby's been over in Talladega. If you hadn't guessed, Toby's a big race fan. Let's see. There's my buddy Ted up in, where are you? Ted's in New Bern, North Kakalaki. I know New Bern well. Lived in Havelock, graduated from Havelock High School. Ted makes his home now in New Bern. Ted flew with us over at Milton Hall. All right. Toby got a thank you in there. Well, good. Let me jot that down. Toby, we'll get your thank you noted. Add to our total. And let me just tote that up here. We're going to get to our challenges here in just a sec. So thank you for that update. All right. Well, let's see. So what am I missing, Ken? What am I missing? What am I missing? Hat of the week. Hat of the week. Oh, man. You know, I counted my hats the other day because somebody at work asked me how many hats I had. And now I don't even remember. It was like 150 or something. But even with that many ball caps, I couldn't come up with a cap that fit anything that was going on this week. So I'm wearing the hat I was wearing today. I guess I could tie it in. That's the big house, the Allman Brothers Museum down in Macon, Georgia. And I drove past yesterday. You have to go past Macon to get to Savannah. And I was playing the Allman Brothers music all the way to Savannah. So maybe that does tie in with that. It was interesting because you have to drive past Macon. So the big house, it's the museum now. They used to call it the big house, the Allman Brothers did, because they recorded there, they slept there, they stayed there. It was a big house for the time. And it's since been turned into the Allman Brothers Museum. And, of course, Greg Allman, Dwayne Allman, his big brother, and then Barry Oakley, their bass player, are all buried in the cemetery there in Macon. And Lori and I have visited a couple times. It's really in great shape now. The Allman family did a wonderful job in the area where Dwayne and Greg are, and Barry Oakley. Before Greg had passed, I'd visited, and Dwayne and Barry were there, and it wasn't very well kept. But after Greg passed and everything, they did a lot of work in that area and built it up with some brickwork, and very nice there. My buddy Lanny and I are going to go visit sometime. We keep saying we are anyway, right, Lanny? We haven't got around to it, but we need to make a trip to go down there. All right. So they're buried there. The big house is there. And then, of course, you have to pass by Statesboro to get to Savannah. And if you remember the song, Statesboro Blues, that's about Statesboro. And then, of course, Savannah, Greg Allman made his home in Savannah the last years of his life, and had a home in Richmond Hill and a home in Savannah. But anyway, that's so I guess the hat of the week does fit the Allman Brothers Band. Okay. Veteran Cemetery Challenge. How about this? I just remembered I got some ribs waiting on me in the oven. I cooked some ribs today and some asparagus. So that's going to make me speed up just a little bit here. So Veteran Cemetery Challenge, of course, I had the Bonaventure, which is a new one for our list. It's a new one on our map. So I'll plot that on the map. And then, of course, Georgia National for the service on Tuesday. And then Jim Miller made a visit to Omaha National, as he often does. And then Daryl, I think Daryl wouldn't mind me telling you this, but he messaged me this afternoon and said, for the very first time since Wanda passed, 4 years it's been, this was the first week he hadn't made a visit to see her. That tells you how sick he's been this last week. But I told him, I say, listen, I'm sure she understands and she would tell you to stay home. And besides, there have been weeks where you've made multiple visits in 1 week, and those make up for it. So don't feel bad. It'll make your next visit all the better. So don't beat yourself up on that. But so if I add up Jim's visit, my couple visits, we had 3 visits this week, which took us over the 600 visit threshold. So we are at 602 visits to 100 and let's see, do I have to update 154 different veteran cemeteries? So not too bad. I like that we do that. All right, moving on to the Thank a Vet Challenge. I just added Toby's to the list. I know we had Jim thanked an airman at Offutt. Toby thanked Army vet yesterday. I thanked, I had my, Ken, I had my, and Daryl, I had my SAC hat on, the one with the big blazing, Strategic Air Command patch and everything, so you couldn't miss it. And one of the guys there were several local VFWs in attendance, and one of the guys saw my hat and had to come over and talk to me. And he's a retired SAC guy. So we had a little bit of a chat there. So some mutual thanks. And then, of course, I thanked the 2 Navy Patriot Guard Rider, the 2 Navy vets that comprised the Patriot Guard Riders yesterday. So 3 for me this week, which makes 5 thank yous. So we are at 1,405 thank yous. Pretty good. How about that? Pretty good. All right. Well, let's see what else is going on. The Missing in Action Project. I told you about them. Running to Honor coming up in July, just a few months away. Last week told you about our friend Molly, who's doing a 100-mile challenge to stop soldier suicide. I know we've had some contributions there. Thank you. And no activity from my Warriors place. I've been keeping tabs on my new friend down there, Stephen, who's the new sort of grounds manager and former Marine, and has a dog named Malachi, service dog, and he appears to be just settling in real nice. That was his first week when Lori and I were there for our work day back at the, when was that? Back in March, first week, end of the first week of March, I think it was. We were down there. But anyway, so Steve's doing good. And I saw that Kelly was on a cruise. Probably a well-deserved break for her. I don't know if she's back today, but she's been out on a cruise somewhere. I'm glad to see the cruise lines getting busy back up. Okay. Well, let's see. I didn't see any reports of any any service member deaths this week, or any accidents. I hope there weren't any. I don't always know. I know one thing to bring to light is the fact that I think we're up to 5 now, maybe 6 sailors that have a connection to one of the aircraft carriers. Somebody help me if you know which carrier. I don't know if it's the Roosevelt, but have committed suicide, have taken their own lives, active duty sailors, over some period of time, not all together, not, I don't think they know yet what the connection is, but the Navy's launched an investigation to sort of track these things, which they should, and figure out, what's going on there. Just like, remember all the activity down at in Texas at the Army base down there, where there was a lot of different issues going on. But anyway, so we'll keep our eyes on that situation with the Navy. Okay, well, I think I have come to the end of today's session, because that's the end of my list. But I will look forward to when you get out and about. And I'm about to get out and about. I'm going to be flying from Atlanta to St. Louis. I'll be there in St. Louis all week. I'll be flying back to Atlanta on Friday. So I have a lot of opportunity to interact with a lot of different people. So maybe I'll have a lot of new things to report next week to you all. And it'll be good for us to get back together again next week. Oh yeah, my pleasure. I don't know if that's Kathy or Tricia, one of you. Yeah, it was my pleasure. Are you kidding me? You don't have to thank me for that. I feel an obligation, and really enjoyed, all the different times I got to spend with your dad and talking about the Air Force, and I could just see him beaming with pride at explaining to me what he did and all the things. He was probably getting a little bit annoyed with me asking so many different questions and stuff, but I enjoyed spending time with him. And man, what a long life he had at 92 years. I know it doesn't take away the loss that you all feel as a family, I'm sure. But maybe there's some comfort in a very long life lived. And you guys did a wonderful job yesterday, honoring your dad. And Gordon was a trooper. Gordon, sort of the patriarch now, of that wing of the family, did a phenomenal job eulogizing your dad, and he's a good man. But yeah, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. And it was my honor to have met him. I mean, I could have gone 92 years and not known that man, but I went 90 and I got to know him for the last couple. So I feel blessed there. But anyway, thank you for thanking me. And thank you for letting me be part of that. Okay, Steve's got some last minute breaking news down there. Missing Army National Guard member. I hate when that happens. That's the thing about drownings. People want to help so bad, and then they end up being the ones. And we'll just have to keep our eye on that, Steve. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. But okay, folks, well, have a great week. I will see you guys again next Sunday night for the next edition of Speaking of Zane. Will we be in May yet? I think we'll still be in April, but it'll be the 190th episode of Speaking of Zane. Have a great week, everybody. I'll look forward to seeing you next Sunday night.